This is how Ben Shapiro just split Andrew Tate's following in just 3 simple steps. Recently, Andrew Tate, Romanian kickboxer and influencer, and his brother Tristan Tate were arrested for allegations of sex trafficking. This sent the entire internet into a heated conversation about the controversial Tate brothers that would last for weeks. This quickly seeped into national news headlines, leaving Ben Shapiro, conservative political pundit, no choice but to chime in on the situation. He began by taking a position of impartiality on whether the Tates were guilty.
He had predicted that people were going to come after him, that they were going to arrest him. Does that mean that he's not guilty of something? I have no idea. I have no idea whether he's guilty of these crimes. It could be trumped up. It could be the Romanian authorities who are embarrassed by Tate. It could be anything.
But instead talked directly to his younger audience about what Tate gets right and what Tate gets wrong. According to Shapiro, Tate correctly diagnoses the problems with the ever-looming woke culture, however fails in prescribing a solution. Andrew Tate is correct in advocating for masculinity, but incorrect in his expensive car-buying, non-monogamous, uber-rich version of masculinity, was the general takeaway from Ben Shapiro. This was a relatively uncontroversial take and didn't change much on its own, until it was repeated by Ben Shapiro's colleague and fellow pundit, Matt Walsh.
So what is the cause that we are here for? It's very simple. We are here to fulfill one of our most fundamental obligations as Americans, as adults, as human beings, and that is to protect our children.
After openly agreeing with Shapiro in his opening monologue, Walsh received many YouTube comments from young men defending Andrew Tate on his podcast, claiming that marriage in the West is a scam and a system rigged against men. Instead of ignoring this like most would, the next day, Walsh dedicated his opening monologue to defending the traditional idea of marriage and masculinity, doubling down on his opposition of Tate, claiming that his lifestyle is one of submission to the woke mob.
So what is the problem with this view? Well, to begin with, it's nothing less than a full, unconditional surrender to the culture. It's true that the culture has increasingly made it difficult for both men and women to form and maintain strong, intact, lasting families. And that's because the elites who run our society don't want you to live that kind of life. They prefer that you focus on your individual wants, on fulfilling your own needs and satisfying your own desires. That's what they prefer for you. That's the life they want for you. A self-focused life is precisely the sort of life they wish for you. I have money. I don't have Andrew Tate's money, but I have money. And nearly all the joy and happiness I derive from having money is that it allows me to provide for my family. That's pretty much it. That's the entire thing. That's why I like having the money, is that I find great pleasure in being able to care for a wife and 6 kids. And you know, if you give your heart to someone, if you bind yourself to them, not only through the marriage vow, but then also through children you conceive together, then they will have all they need to rip your guts out and burn your life to the ground. That is absolutely true. That's the risk, okay? But it's a risk worth taking. I don't want any life but the one I have. I don't want any woman but the one I married. I mean, you could listen to that and say, oh, that's not true. He's just saying it. That's a cope on your part. That's resentment, envy talking. If I could do my life over from the start, I would find my wife again and marry her again. If I lived 100 lives, I'd marry her in all of them. That's what it means to love somebody.
This has now presented Tate's following with 2 options. Already certain on their path toward masculinity, they must now decide between a life of bliss and sexual pleasure or a life of love and legacy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and also subscribe. Please actually subscribe. It's a very good channel, and we'll have more videos like this if you want to. Please subscribe, please, please, please.